Thanks everyone for coming. This is a really, really nice turnout. Welcome to the Anime YouTuber Q&A. To my right, I have a veteran of anime YouTube, legend of the industry, Glass Reflection Arcada. To my left, I have two up-and-comers setting the world ablaze. It's Anime Uproar. My name is John. I also go by Super Patchwolf on YouTube. So the format of this Q&A, shockingly, is going to be questions and answers. So you will ask us questions and we will answer them, hopefully in a reasonably entertaining way. So doing a little check, who has questions?
Good.
That's not enough. I want to see way more people than that.
Yes. Give us an intro bio, sort of.
An intro bio?
For each of them, yeah. Just tell us about yourselves.
Like
yeah.
the channels, yeah.
I'm a guy that makes videos on the internet. I've been making videos on the internet since 2009, both moving between YouTube, Blip, and back to YouTube again, because YouTube is not the most understanding of websites. But yeah, no, I've been doing this a long time. I've been lucky enough to be able to say that this has been my full-time job for the last number of years, and I hope to continue that as long as it will last out. And yeah, that is me. Hi.
I remember the lab coat days.
Yeah, the lab coat days. I still have that lab coat. It is not white anymore.
So about 3 years ago, I uploaded a video to the internet called Why You Should Watch Hunter x Hunter. And thank you, yeah, I got a tiny applause for that. And I don't know, things got real weird after that. And now I'm here, and I'm not quite sure what happens, but it's been a pretty good time. And YouTube's been my full-time job for about, I think about a year and a half, 2 years, and I still really enjoy doing it.
Hi guys, working? Perfect. So we started really taking this seriously 2 years ago, and you'll see us try everything. We did some Pokemon Go videos. Don't watch them. That was really fun, and we've been doing a lot of different stuff, but the past year the channel's really taken off. We get to do it as a full-time job, which is such a blessing. And that's been amazing, and we've mainly been focusing on, we focus on everything, but our babies, I guess, were Code Geass, Attack on Titan, and My Hero Academia. We really like, and Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, don't want to leave anyone out. We make all kinds of videos, but those have been our main ones.
And we're here today because we thought, well, it would be a great way to get to meet Super Patchwolf and Arcada in person. Like, hey, we could be guests at the con.
Yeah, that is an ulterior motive.
But yeah, we are big fans of these guys.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's been such a disappointment. So I guess in terms of questions, I guess we're good at answering pretty much anything. I am, yeah. So, let's just go with that. Who would like to ask the first question? Let's go for a little deco here.
What was your first anime?
Ooh, good. Oh my god.
Loaded questions.
Okay, technically mine has two answers. So the question was, what was my first anime? And technically, I think my first anime was Sailor Moon, because it aired on YTV way back in the day, and I was 4 or something. But at that point in time, and for a very long time, I didn't know what anime was. So the first time that I can say that I watched something with full knowledge that it was an anime, and I understood what that meant, was when I watched Princess Mononoke. And that was end of elementary school, early high school. So those were my two.
So when I was about 7 years old, my older cousins showed me Akira. And I can even kind of remember them being like, what if it messes them up? Now I'm an anime YouTuber.
So yes, it did mess you up.
For me, it was probably one of those Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, but when I actually knew it was anime, it was definitely Death Note. Watched it before the dubs finished, and that was when I was like, oh my god, the rabbit hole goes deep, and I've been going deeper and deeper ever since.
He's lying, it was Girls Bravo.
That came after.
Yeah, but no, for me too, it was Pokemon like Dragon Ball Z, but I didn't know what anime was back then, right? And then he actually got me to watch Death Note in about 2010. He was like, check this out. And I was like, this isn't for kids. This is awesome. And since then I went to like Code Geass and like Darker Than Black and Gurren Lagann, which is still my favorite anime ever. So,
Brotherhood. You can just keep going.
yeah. But,
Next question, please. Weird. No, we're good. Yep.
With the contemporary anime fandom being very focused on the newest of the new, from either the current season or maybe one season ago, do you find that trying to make content that you think your audience wants contrasts with the kind of content you'd like to produce? Like if you want to look at older shows?
To a point, how I've been able to combat that is just being like, hey, this is my channel, I make what I want. Like that usually ends up coinciding with some popular things to a point, but there is like this little barrier that I have to make of, okay, I don't want to make a video just for the sake of making the video, because then I don't think the video will be any good. That'll just be me being like, yeah, I'm just going to talk and bullshit for like 10 minutes. There's a video, yay. No, that's not what I want to do. So I generally end up just talking about what I want to talk about. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, well, I enjoyed making the video.
I found you and subscribed looking for a video reviews about Pat Labor, by the way.
Yes, see, that's exactly it, because I was like, I'm going to make this Pat Labor video. No one's going to care, because it's Pat Labor. Like last year, I made a video on Aria too, and I've had like 8 different people say that they got into Aria because of my video, and I'm like, perfect, job done.
Yeah, I'd agree with a lot of that. I think it's kind of very easy to chase like the newest anime, but the problem with that is that you're going to be competing with everyone else who's doing that. And so I think anime YouTube is saturated enough to the point that it's not even that much of an advantage covering new stuff anymore, so I'll just cover whatever I want. It's kind of fun sometimes because I do like to throw like the odd curveball in there, so like I made my video about professional wrestling.
Yes.
And I was getting really nervous in the week coming up to that, so I was like, okay, I'll put a little teaser out on Twitter about this. And so I can't even remember what the comment was, but I put like a 1-sentence little thing that implied I might be making a video about wrestling, and I was like, I wonder how this will go down. And I hit refresh, and the first comment was, if you make a video about wrestling, I'm going to stab someone. And I just deleted it and was like, well.
yeah, I think that's a really good question, because what I find is, since we're still new in terms of like how fast we're growing, we don't have necessarily the kind of fan base that will watch anything we put out, so we have to be careful about, you know, not doing something really niche, but we try to balance it, whereas even if we know that we're not going to get views for something, like I made like a Fooly Cooly video or something like that back before season 2 came out, but I was like, okay, well, I'll make that, I don't expect any views, but the people that do watch it will appreciate it. And then, so that's the kind of mentality we have, like we do analyze, I don't know if you like that word, the newer anime, but we try to like then throw in some stuff that is just kind of like your baby, your labor of love, and if people appreciate, great. If it gets lower views, that's what happens.
Yeah, I think for us, compromise is definitely important at this point, in the sense that we definitely care like what our subscribers want to see, listen to them, but at the same time you need to make videos on something you like, right? So you're not going to see me, for example, making like in-depth video on Yuri on Ice, just because that's not my favorite anime. But as far as so it's a balance for us at this point. Maybe when we get super big, you know, we can put out anything, but yeah, right now it's a balance.
I don't even think when you get big you can put out anything.
Yeah.
Because like again, as I don't know if I said this out loud, but I was saying it to this group here, it's like, I can do certain things as long as it is anime related. Even if I try to go somewhat tangential to that, I get like downvoted and nobody watches anything.
What about Avatar? Is that okay?
Well, Avatar is there because then we get this big old argument of like Jeff Thu coming out being like, it's an anime fucking thing. So yeah.
Speaking of Jeff Thu,
No,
I'm sorry, did we ask
I kind of want to ask him this first question, but he's not here, so hold on. So,
It's okay, you can just pretend to be Jeff Fleur. Hi, Crunchyroll.com/mothersbasement.
so the upcoming SEO live action series. This that Trevor don't know. I know I'm not asking this in. Bernie told me I'm not asking this. Do you think it's gonna fail? Basically.
No,
Okay.
it's SAO.
And like even on YouTube, it's not going to fail because the videos about it will get 1 million views. Like that's not an exaggeration. It will get 1 million views.
Yeah, I could see Jeff making the, why it's terrible, horrible adaptation.
Yep.
But then he doesn't like the original, so that's gonna be interesting actually.
Yep.
Also, second question. What did I see Pokemon Sun and Moon anime? This crap?
Wait, what are we looking at?
This? Or this? Look at that.
Okay, well, one is fan art,
Yes.
but that does look really good.
Gorgeous. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's actually covered for a fanfic. Hold this up. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah. Look at that. That's a fanfic, by the way. This is the official anime, and this is a fanfic. Something's wrong. So,
To
yeah.
be fair, some fanfic is really well drawn.
Yeah, this is one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo, fanfiction.
Definitely.
Next question, please.
Yeah.
Let's go for you in the other.
So I wanted to ask, I think a lot of people have had these phases. How was it for you to transition into, oh my gosh, I love Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon and stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm a big boy. I watch Psychopaths and Technolize, and then
Nobody watches Technolize. Don't lie, nobody watches
But
Technolize.
that's also the thing. Like, I watch obscure anime, and then finding that middle ground of I can like everything, One Piece to mature stuff and blah blah.
I don't think I ever got past that first phase.
That might be a problem.
For me, I never had that first phase. So like when as I said, I started off knowing anime was like Princess Mononoke, and that's kind of as general as it got was Ghibli. Then beyond that, I immediately dived into like really weird stuff like Midori Days and City Hunter, which nobody knows anymore, but it was big back in the day, and Chobits and Clamp and that sort of thing. I never really had this like big stretch of time where shonen was my life. I kind of bypassed that entirely, so there was no transition. It's just I was always in stage 2. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, actually, that's an interesting question because I watched like the regular Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff, right? And then I got into Death Note and the more mature anime, and for a while there, I was that snobby guy. It's like, yo, I watch anime, they're like 30 episodes. I'm not gonna watch that 120 episode stuff, you know. I was that guy. But then when I started reading manga more, and like including shonen manga, that's when I realized, you know, because a lot of shonen will have filler, but the manga will move a lot quicker. Like One Piece is a great example. I realized, no, there's a lot of good stuff here. It's an interesting story. It's an adventurous story. There's messages there. But yeah, for a while, I think I was that guy that's like, I only watch Terror and Resonance and that type of stuff. I'm not gonna watch your, shonens. But then I kind of, I guess I went through all the stages.
Hey guys, I just got back from watching Serial Experiments Lane.
For the 3rd time.
That is impressive. But for me, for example, I had some weird stages there. But there was the shonen, obviously, and then I feel like I rediscovered shonen almost later, because I feel like I went through a mini stage of that, but not as bad as him. And then I rediscovered shonen, I'm like, man, this is awesome. Like, it speaks to something inside you at any age, and I feel like if people cast it off as childish, they're not seeing that. But I also enjoy, obviously, more mature anime. I'm gonna say Death Note, but like Serial Experiments Lane, all of that stuff. But whether we can make a video on it like Eye Patch Wolf and do well, I don't know about that at this point.
But have you heard about the Legend of the Galactic Hero?
That is the pilgrimage upon which we will all one day take when we can afford the $800 box set.
What? Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Next question, please.
Who's your favorite anime?
Next question.
Like, it kind of depends on the day. I love Yu Yu Hakusho so much. So it's kind of toss-up between that and Ava. Ava's kind of a boring answer, but I can't help it. It's great.
Yu Yu Hakusho is a much better answer.
Well, folks, that's going to do it.
That's it. That's it. yeah, no, like Eye Patch, mine's mostly, it changes from season to season. New season comes out, that's a great thing. Occasionally some things stick around, like in my mind, so usually if somebody asks right now, the top 2 that I'll tell them is Made in Abyss and Shirobako. But then there have been things that have been there for like a very long time, so like Angelic Lair, I will always go back to Angelic Lair, like once a year or once every 2 years. Yeah, and beyond that it just changes.
I don't put a lot of thought into this.
Probably
So it's, yeah, for a long time, so I'll just go with it. I always told people Clannad After Story.
Yeah!
That was just amazing, and it's, ever since I watched it, it's been kind of my favorite. And I just don't address the question a lot, so I feel like it's my go-to one. I'll say
It
that.
used to be my go-to for a long time, but then I thought people were getting bored of me saying it, so I changed it.
For me, there can only be one, and it's Tengen Toppakuren Lagan. It's just like a lot of great anime, very different, but to me it's like so motivational, and there's so many philosophical layers to it, and Kamina is my idol in life. Like I feel like I try to strive to be a better man by looking at Kamina, so that's my thing, guys.
Next question, please. You in the hat.
Since you've reviewed a lot of animes over the years, if you could have your favorite like voice actor from one of the animes you really like guest with you on your show or something, like who would you want to maybe like have a day on your show?
Ooh, can I go first?
Sure.
Go nuts.
And now I'm terrible with voice actors in the sense of names, right? But if I could have the voice of Spike from Cowboy Bebop,
English?
chill, exactly, English, and hang out with him for a day, I would just love listening to his voice. And I feel like to an extent, that's me with Super Eye Patch Wolf too.
And that, my friends.
And that, my friends, leads us to the next one.
I actually had a friend recently be like, "Hey John, that's why you should watch your fucking mouth." I wasn't even angry, I was like, that was pretty good. Sorry, maybe I'm not allowed to swear at this, everyone forget that.
Well, I already said it before when I was quoting Jen, so it's okay.
For me, I agree actually, so the main cast of Cowboy Bebop, the English cast, I think are amazing, the way they worked with each other, and that is my favorite dub of all time. So yeah, that would be like the people that I would want to talk to, like how did you do it, how did you do such a great job compared to so many failed dubs out there.
I think, just on that subject, Cartoon Cypher has a really good video on that. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yes, well, White's the best.
Yes, Eric and Avi are really good at that.
Yeah, they're great, they're really good. For me, it's probably Christopher Sabat, the voice of Vegeta.
He was here 2 years ago.
I met him at the Crunchyroll Awards, and I was just talking to him, and then he was like, "Hey man, listen, if you want to do anything," he talks like a surfer, so he's like, "Hey man, if you want to do anything, just, here's my," and I was like, "Okay." And I've just been sitting on his email, not having any idea what I could ever possibly do, so I don't know.
Yeah, well I also have my weird slot story, because he was here 2 years ago when I was guesting, and then we played an Attack on Titan tabletop game for D20 Live, just over in the stage there, and I meet him and I introduce him, and he's like, "So what do you do?" And I'm like, "I do videos on YouTube." He's like, "Cool, you ever thought of voice acting? I think you'd be really good at it." I'm like, "I'm done. I'm done." So no, I never done that, but like as far as like bringing someone onto my show, probably not. I don't usually have many guest people, because I find it hard to like collaborate with other people when I really just want to kind of do my own thoughts, unless it's like some weird other thing. But just hanging out with people, yeah, I'd hang out with everybody from Bebop, everybody in the cast, everybody from the ADR team, like Mary McGlynn, like that, plus everybody from the Ghost in the Shell cast. Not the original movie, but the TV series. Yeah. And there is a lot of overlap there, because Mary McGlynn did the Major, but then there was also like Richard Epcar and Crispin Freeman and those guys. Yeah, no, I'd hang out with them like any day of the week and try not to fanboy so hard.
Next question, please. Let's go for the Pokemon trainer here.
What are each of your favorite anime YouTubers?
I really like Super Eye Patch Wolf. A lot of good points.
I also really like Super Eye Patch Wolf. I think he makes like really great videos, and I love watching him.
I probably just look like an asshole.
Super Eye Patch. It's kind of true though. But also Giguk, like he also, along with Arcana, really was one of the first people I ever saw on YouTube, and his like reviews, the way he did it, you know, that funny style that he did was just knocked me out every time. So I really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, and we did mention them a second ago, but Eric and Avi, who do Cartoon Cypher, they're really freaking good at what they do. And if you've never seen any video done on the Cartoon Cypher channel, you should go do that.
Along with the present company, I also was very much loved Giguk way back in the day, and actually right now I really like my friend Noxtaku. For those of you guys who know him, he's about 200,000 subs now, and he just has this sense of humor that I really enjoy, and obviously we have our own kind of, I know him personally, so we have our own kind of sense of humor, so it speaks to me maybe more than other people, but I really like him. Don't tell him I said this.
It's on video.
Next question, please. Let's go for you in the back there.
Me?
That's right, sir.
Have you ever watched Band Dread?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it, but yes.
It's terribly great.
It's greatly terrible.
Next question, please. Let's go for you, sir.
What are your opinions on abridged versions of animes, like SAO abridged and?
I mean, to me, it's like any fan project. It's cool. Like I don't watch a whole lot of them. I used to watch a lot of Team 4-Star, and I just kind of, I don't know, I just haven't in a while. But like, I like to see fan fiction. I like to see fan art. I like to see any show that inspires people enough that they want to take it and kind of put their own twist on it. Like, I think that's really cool.
Same general thing is like, I don't watch a lot of abridging. I've watched several abridging, mostly because I know a lot of the guys in Team 4-Star, and like we're friends and we talk. So I follow their work and have for a long period of time. But I don't generally mind the act of abridging itself, because it has its value in a piece of comedy entertainment. It's just more so of, it's very easy to get wrong. So generally when someone says, oh, I have this abridged series, you want to be in it? Or I have this, what are your thoughts? And I'm like, it's alright. Yeah.
I haven't watched one in a while, but the last one I watched was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, and that was amazing. Yeah, and one of the things that's good at it is almost, you know, it's like fans of the show making it, right? So you have all these fan-based views, and they're poking fun at them, and they're playing with them, and I think it's a great space for like creativity to come alive.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it depends on the quality, right? It depends. Certain abridged series are better than others, but I think that it's in general it's a great thing to do. It can be really funny, really entertaining, and I think the big issue is that the copyright issues, right? Like people are going to who do abridged series are going to face copyright issues, even though I think it means fair use. You're transforming the content. You're not showing entire episodes or something.
Yeah, like the amount of times that DBZ abridged has been on and offline is...
Yeah, so that's a big problem and a big issue why probably people don't do it as much as they used to, and they don't follow through. They'll make like the first 2 episodes and stop. But I definitely like the idea. I think there's a lot of potential, and I would like to see more if they can figure out the copyright stuff ever.
Next question, please. Let's go for the Scout.
I'm a hobbit, but whatever.
Look behind you, sir. You think I thought a hobbit was a Scout?
They make a mistake. They kind of look like them in Civ 5.
Alright, how do I get my friend to stop neglecting everything that isn't a romance anime?
Wait, what?
Like, he just refuses to watch it.
So how do you convince people to watch a romance anime?
No, how do you
not
convince
watch?
people
Wait.
to watch anything but a romance
Oh.
So that's all they're watching is romance.
Yeah.
Yes.
By romance, do you mean ecchi? Like that, yes.
Okay.
Set him up with a girl.
Oh boy, let's not pin him down here. I think that's the best we can do. Next question, please. Let's go for the Hobbit.
So I tried to get your autograph earlier from my buddy. He is really inspired by your works. He actually sent me a message to tell you if that's okay, or could I do this later?
How safe for work is this message?
It's okay.
Okay, good.
Just tell him that he's a huge inspiration of mine and got me working on my own video essays of my own. I also show his wrestling video to all my friends.
Oh, super sweet. Your buddy sounds like a cool guy.
And also, he wanted me to give you a copy of Trailer Park Boys Season 1.
Oh, I've been meaning to watch that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Has to be in with
Thank you so much.
Tim's bag.
But also, he was wondering if we can make a video maybe after this, because...
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome.
Next question, please. Let's go for that floating hand in the very, very back. Yes, you, sir.
Okay. I'm a little bit late, so maybe.
Wait, sorry, you're late?
A little.
Security, can we have this person out?
All right, but anyway, what's one thing about your job that you think a lot of people don't know about or underestimate, like how much work goes into, like the editing, the writing, the research?
I hate to get super general with it, but kind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, sometimes people are like, why didn't you do this? And it's like, because that's a week's worth of work, dude. And like, I don't know about you guys, but like the amount of writing, like the script stage especially, the amount of writing and rewriting, like it can be just exhausting sometimes. And I think people don't realize how long it takes to get to a script that actually kind of works.
And for a lot of things like what I do, when people say, oh, why don't you go and review this very long-running show? It doesn't even have to be shown, and it could be something like 100 and some odd episodes. And I'm like, yeah, but I have to watch all that. That takes time, and also because watching anime is not necessarily interactive, I'm not playing a video game or anything, I have to stay there and keep my eyes open and pay attention for that whole thing. And then make notes, and then you have to turn that into scripts, and then you have to be happy with that script. Which you may not be. I have like a pile of scripts for videos that I'm like, so then I don't like make them, and then you have to film them in my case or record them, and then you'd be like, no, you look like an idiot, change this, change that, redo it, then you actually have to edit it, then you need to get scripts, or then you need to get footage, then you need to take the footage, you need to put it in the timeline, then you need to get like background music, then you need to do all that, then you need to render it out, pray that Premiere or whatever the hell you use doesn't hate you, upload it to YouTube, pray that YouTube doesn't hate you and copyright it shitting back, and then you have a video. And this takes a very long time.
And then people hate it.
And then everybody hates it.
So definitely how much work goes into it. It takes, I'd say, at least for us at this stage, like we're working more than like a full-time job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and it's never off.
You don't stop.
It's never off. So there's, even when you're like taking a break, maybe hopefully we'll learn how to do it eventually. But even when you're taking a break, you're like, feel guilty that you're not doing more, you know, people are waiting for videos. So it doesn't turn off, which is, I think, something people underestimate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I just have an example from recently, because Attack on Titan Season 2 premiered on Sunday.
Season 3.
Season 3, yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's it, but yeah, so Season 3 premiered on Sunday, and right away we got a bunch of comments, where are your version of
video
on
on
time? And it's like, it takes some time.
I think people left me alone because I never made a video on Season 2, like at all. Like I mentioned it in my roundup of things that came out that season, but that was kind of it, so like nobody's really bothering me for Season 3, and I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah. So I think overall it is a great job. It is satisfying for you to be able to, when you really work on a script and you kind of pour your heart and soul into a video, and you're like, and people get to appreciate it right away, and if it gets a lot of views and you get a lot of positive comments, it's reaffirming. You're like, oh wow, people are enjoying this. That's awesome. So that it is an awesome job, but then it does take, I think, more work than people realize, because people who are not necessarily YouTubers or who maybe have made videos before but not on a regular basis, like trying to be on a schedule, don't appreciate how difficult that can be.
I think Gaijin Pumbaa had a panel earlier on creative burnout, and that's a big part of it as well. Like, it is really tough to stay inspired and stay excited about stuff, especially when it's like, oh man, I just spent the whole day editing this anime video, guess I'll go relax by watching some anime. Next question, please. Let's go for you. Yep.
Do you ever feel that with reviews you get stuck where the audiences gravitate towards either hate rants or love rants, and you just want to say, well, this was decent, here's good or bad points, and the audience just doesn't pick up on those, or is it just everyone loves the rant?
Yeah, no, everybody does love the rant. My best example
is it a bad thing, though? Yeah.
It can be, because for them, that's entertaining. You either have somebody that's very passionate and really loves something, or they're so passionate they hate it. And they love that. Because if you're just like, oh, well, this is the thing, here's some good things about it, here are some not so good things about it, and they're just like, well, but there's no passion there. There's no like intense hatred or intense love. That's what we want. That's how we distinguish what we can watch. Like I did a video on Yuri on Ice a couple of years back, like when it finished airing, and my whole video was like, okay, well this is a hot button topic at the moment, so here are some good things about it, here are some not good things about it. And people automatically just assumed, oh, you hate it, don't you? And I'm like, that's not what I said in the video. Did you watch the video? But yeah, no, because that's kind of what they expect. And you can lean into that if you want, and some people do. And sometimes, if you're really passionate one way or another, you probably should, because why not? Don't lie to anybody just to be neutral. Like, we're not, if people say try and get your biases out of your videos, I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
Stack those biases.
Yeah, no, be as biased as you want. As long as you tell them that, you make it very clear, yeah, this is what I do, this is what I think, this is not like what the people think. Don't be like, no, SAO sucks because everybody says so. No, there are some people that like SAO.
Yeah.
Not me, but there are some people that like SAO.
I guess with that, like, I'm not really interested in talking about shows I kind of like. I'll either go for shows that I really love or bad versions of things I love, and that's the only kind of two things I'll do. Like, I don't really do, like, I think this was a good 6 out of 10. Like, it's just, that's not me. But it's funny because when, like, I've done like 60 videos, I'd say maybe 7 of them have been like negative, and those are the ones that just blow up so much. And it's funny because sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this, little movie from the early 2000s I like, and people are like, talk about why Tokyo Ghoul's terrible. I don't care.
That was me.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of the time, people when they watch a YouTube video, like not everyone, but a lot of people go there just to reaffirm their own beliefs. So if they love something, they want to hear you say how much you love it. They're like, yeah. Or if they hate it, they want to hear you how much you hate it. So if you don't agree with that, even if you provide rational arguments and logic and like good and bad, you're gonna be like, this is stupid. This is the stupidest video ever. Why don't you get why it's so brilliant? High School DxD or something, whatever. so yeah, that's kind of my experience. So you have to kind of just like say what you want to say, and if you get dislikes more than usual, whatever, hey, that's what happens.
Even if you just title your video a certain way, like the problem is if you title your video very neutral, like I normally do, I'm just like title of anime review, whatever, and then it's like, oh, and then they come in to either love it or hate it because they don't know, because I'm very neutral about it. They don't know from the get-go what my thoughts are, so they have to watch it. But like if Eyepatch Wolf puts out a video being like, these are the reasons why to watch the thing, that's probably because he likes it. So then if somebody hates it, they're like, nah, and they don't even click on it.
Yeah. Sometimes you get comments where it's like, I disagreed with your video. Like, okay. That's fine.
As a YouTuber, you're always gonna get hate, right?
Yeah.
So you're always gonna get some hate comments. So might as well, yeah, just double down on what you like, double down on your opinions, and the cool thing is you're gonna get a lot of love comments too. And I think that's better than everyone being like, oh yeah, this was good, it didn't offend me. Yeah. I think you want to be that polarizing sometimes.
Yeah, leave the neutral opinions for if, like, a company is paying you to write reviews for their magazine or website or something. Then you can be neutral.
Next question, please. Let's go for you there with the red hair.
Sure. Simple question. Saber or Rin Tosaka? Or if you can't answer that one, Asuka or Rei?
The fact that you started with simple question is what throws me.
I saw the smirk and I was like, here we fucking go. We're gonna give our cat a minute.
You guys start.
Saber.
The other one? Yes. So in terms of Evangelion, neither. I mean, fair. Are they really waifus?
That's what we're talking about? I thought it was who would win in a fight.
Then Rei. But no, for me, I like, I'm gonna go with Rin. I know people are gonna hate me, but I'm a sucker for tsunderes in real life. All my girlfriends are like tsunderes, so like one at a time.
My harem is just full of tsundere. I
diversified my harem, but yeah.
Rin.
Arcad, I know this hurts. But we're gonna need an answer.
Okay, so if I had to, between Saber and Rin, I'd go Saber. For a lot of reasons, mostly because my real name is Tristan, which makes me a very big sucker for anything with the legend of King Arthur. So, Saber. And for Evangelion, like part of me saying I have to lean towards Asuka because I have a laptop that's really red and I named her Asuka because her battery only lasts for like 10 minutes. But honestly, Misada.
Next question, please. Let's go for you in the black robe, in fact.
How do you guys deal with moderating comments?
We don't.
Oh, I don't. I'm not insane.
Like, all I do for comments on YouTube is I pay attention really heavily for like the first half hour, and I find some ones that are really nice, and I heart those, so they move to the top. And then I'm like, good, and then I never go back.
Oh, to me, like if I look at my comment section, I can feel like my HP draining. It's just, I will stay away from that.
Yeah, I think Arcada has a great strategy there, but another thing is, like, any constructive criticism to me is fine. Like, it's like, I didn't like your video because you said this, and I disagree with it, that's cool. The comments that I will sometimes delete is when it's like, completely no context, just like swearing, and it's like, screw this, you suck, but no context, and it's like spam. Then I might consider deleting it if I'm paying attention, which most of the time I'm just like, whatever. But in general, yeah, I think that the best is to just look at, try to answer as many as you can, you know, once the video drops, and after that you can't keep up, it's just impossible.
Yeah, same YouTube channel, same way of pretty much viewing the comments.
Next question, please. Let's go. You there.
So you touched on it a bit earlier, but what are some of the things that your fans are often requesting but you keep putting off or just don't want to do in general?
Lose.
Most of my fans don't like request anything specifically, but as I said, I usually check my comments for the first like half hour to hour, and a good like maybe 50% of the comments are, hey, you should do a video on XYZ. That's not the video that they're currently commenting on. And I'm like, okay, maybe.
I love that too. We get like on Instagram posts or something that's completely unrelated posts, people will be like, hey, why don't you talk about Code Geass? So we'll get that a lot. But
and if you did a Code Geass video, they'd be like, hey, why don't you make a video on this other thing?
Exactly. And the thing is, like, we need more news, man. There isn't enough to talk about at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say about Code Geass in particular because we made videos about it when the sequel was announced, like a year and a half ago, and we were excited to see what's going to happen, right? But then we haven't had any real news except merch. It's like the official website has just been like, oh, we got some new merch for you guys to buy. So at some point I was like, I'm not going to make any more videos on this until we get real news. I'm not going to be like, hey, you can buy Suzaku body pillows. But then people are like, why aren't you making videos on Code Geass? Haven't you heard this or haven't you heard that? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it until we have real news. So yeah.
Why don't you just take your first video, rephrase it, re-upload it, and then it's an entirely different video. You can do that like 60 times, and then maybe the last one you put up a video on Asterisk Wars.
Yeah, and switch it up, like switch up the images I'm using, just like switch up for the new merch.
Yeah.
What do you think people will realize?
Next question, please. Let's go for you with this last.
Okay, so we all know that you haven't seen the best anime in the history of ever because you all admitted to it. What is the worst anime?
Back up. What is it?
Legend of the Galactic Heroes is clearly the best anime.
I didn't say I never saw it.
Okay, they did.
I've seen
Sorry,
it.
did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure that
It is a pilgrimage upon which we must all traverse.
Exactly. Okay, so what is the worst anime you've ever sat through? Like the whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing.
The whole thing, not just 1 or 2 episodes. I'm talking like complete trash.
Okay, I'll try this. But like, it's hard because, you know, if you have self-respect, you probably won't like drop it. But I mean, I did as a kid watch Girls Bravo, and it's not good. It's not
I'm gonna have to check this girl's Bravo out. I really hate this. I like wrestling a lot, and there was this wrestling anime that came out that was called "Wanna Be the World's Strongest," and I just kept wanting it to get better. I was like, no, it can get better. It can get better, and it never did. And then I was like 10 episodes in, and I was like, you know what? I'm not watching any more of this because it's bad. And then the 10th episode was the last episode, and I was like, wait, did I just watch all of it?
So I have a standard answer to this question that I'm not going to bring up, because most people already know it, so we're going to forget that exists.
School days?
We're going to forget that we're going to forget that exists, and instead I'm going to piss some people off by saying love Hina.
Oh, you need to explain that one though. Why?
It's my son and Koku for idiots.
Because, okay, what is the purpose of watching Love Hina? You have this one guy who's not remarkable in any way,
Nope.
who didn't even get into the school that he meant to get into in Tokyo, suddenly finding himself with a whole harem of people that want to jump on him.
Yeah, anime.
It's less of what it is on its own, but what it has spawned.
Yes.
What has come because of it. Its legacy.
Oh.
That is why. That is why I love him.
And I honestly am blanking now on one that I finished because I usually drop anime and I hate it. I mean, like, Black Butler season 2 was pretty bad.
No.
But like,
That doesn't exist. It's Black Butler, and then they go into like Book of Circus, right?
Yeah.
That's how it,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
yes.
They removed it. It
I
doesn't
withdraw
exist
my
anymore.
answer. I withdraw my.
Next question, please. Let's go for you there, sir. Yes, you.
If you could have a voice actor narrating your life, who would it be?
I don't know, I think I'd get really annoyed with that.
It depends. Do we have to hear the narration? Or is it just like, if somebody just randomly makes a video of your life, and then you have a narrator to it?
And then Super Eye Patch Wolf read all the comments of people who didn't like his video. Dude, shut up! This is already hard. I don't know, I got an answer.
Most people would say Morgan Freeman, because everybody likes Morgan Freeman. I personally would go with the other Freeman, Mr. Crispin Freeman. That'd be really great. Or if I really wanted someone else, it'd probably be Mary McGlynn.
Well, I don't know about voice actors, but I would love Super Eye Patch Wolf. Do it for a minute, because I feel like his, emotional, dramatic telling of completely boring things in my life would be very interesting, like going to the bathroom, etc. I would watch that video.
Put the mic down. Pass it.
Agreed. Super Eye Patch Wolf.
So, just on the subject of that, like, with the way I talk in videos, because I'll talk differently in real life, but like, a lot of people who, like, are not American but watch a lot of, like, American media wouldn't understand my, like, accent when I started doing videos. So then I slowed down a little bit and talked like this. And then people started leaving really inappropriate comments. And then my life became a nightmare. Next question, please. You there, Decker. Did you forget your question? I can come back to you if you want.
Check your notes, check your notes.
We'll come back. Next question? Yeah.
So, I know that you've done this Super Eye Patch Wolf, but if you could release a video that you know will be relatively popular, not this like, that is not a topic that has at all been mentioned at your channel but you're interested in, what kind of video would you release?
So a video that we may be interested in making, that if we know we did it, that it would get really popular and a lot of views?
Well, I mean like, popular enough where you're okay with like releasing it and so.
Just to see what happens?
Yeah. Sure.
Dragon Ball is better than Dragon Ball Z, fight me.
I've kind of always wanted to do a video, just like a little 6-minute video called "Why You Should Stop Buying Pop Vinyls."
Please make that video.
Please, yes.
There was some other, because I always people always ask this, and I'm always like about a year ago, people were like, would you ever do a video on wrestling? And I was like, no, I'm not insane. And then things just got worse.
For me, it would be something like, why do people choose the most bizarre waifus? Like, because you know, if you watch anime like My Hero Academia, right? There'd be that one guy that's like, I really like that one girl that appeared in that one episode that no one even remembers. Like, she's my wife. It's like, you know nothing about her. Why is she your waifu? Like, she has no personality. You
Because nobody else picks them.
Yes, I know. So that's like I would love to do a video where like I psychologically analyze those types of people that are like.
I bet that video is going to get real dark.
What were you thinking with that?
Well, I think that a lot of it would be classical and like classic anime that we almost feel it's like almost too late to comment on kind of thing.
It's never too late.
Yeah. So even like making like a Death Note video and stuff like that, and we may eventually do that, but right now we are trying to stick with more current stuff, right? But definitely, yeah. But there's a lot of classic anime, and it kind of feels like the ship has sailed.
What's your definition of classic? Like how far back?
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing my definition of classic is
Probably
a bit
different. Yeah, no, like, I mean, for me, it was pretty much when I was growing up, so like, Death Note, Brotherhood.
That's classic.
That's classic.
I'm so old.
I'm so old.
I'm sorry.
Like I was thinking, okay, like 80s Cat Labor, 80s Gundam, that sort of thing. That's classic.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah.
Maybe bringing it up to the 90s and saying Bebop's a classic. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I can agree with
Gundam
that.
Wing. The best part is.
Deku, you good?
Yeah. What was the video you had most fun editing or making, or at least the favorite video that you made?
I had a lot of fun making the Gretzko video.
Yes.
That was fun. I wasn't prepared for the amount of, dude, are you okay? It's like, oh my god, yeah. And I was like, well, no, but it doesn't matter. You guys?
In terms of most meaningful is kind of the more philosophical anime, because I actually studied philosophy, and so when I try to like talk about like 5 animes that will change your life, and that was like a video that we did and didn't get many views, but like I really liked making that type of video. In terms of just like fun, back in the day before the channel took off, we did a bunch of skits, like comedy skits, where we just kind of like had fun, had concepts like what if real life had an anime soundtrack and like stuff like that. So that was really fun to do, because we actually included our friends, like just random friends, and maybe not even anime fans in some cases. We would just come, like we would just act out stuff. It was.
I agree, and like with those videos, we knew that a lot of people probably wouldn't watch them, so we had fun and we did like literally the most ridiculous stuff, and even with the Pokemon Go vlogs, they were pretty fun. So that time, those videos.
Please no one look this up.
Yeah.
This doesn't exist.
For me, I guess it comes down to when I end up making a video that I know only so many people are going to care about, but I am really either passionate about it or I just really want to talk about it. So at one point I did a back-to-back thing where I did a video on Shogun Roku Rakugo Shinju.
Yes.
Followed by a video on Turn A Gundam. Which, if you're trying to be really big and get the views, doing that back-to-back probably isn't the best of ideas, because nobody cares about either Rakugo Shinju, which is a crime,
Yeah, agreed.
or Turn A Gundam, which is like, oh, that's old. It's just sad. But I enjoy making those kind of videos because I really like those shows. I spend a lot of time both watching and then just thinking about those shows. And yeah, so that's me.
Next question, please. Okay, let's go. Oh, sorry.
So, in terms of when you get more famous, how do you deal with the stress of becoming more successful? Do you guys hang out with other YouTubers just to chill out, just to relax, or
alcohol?
Okay.
Hanging out with alcohol.
Yeah, I can remember when I had I think it was my 500th sub. I was talking to my friend and I was getting upset. I was like, it's just there's a lot of pressure. That's a good question. It's difficult, honestly, and it really does take a lot of getting used to, because it's a really strange experience, just the amount of noise day to day. You are getting so many people that want to interact with you and want to talk to you, and it's it can be really, really weird. Like, you know, do you ever get like recognized in public and stuff?
Outside of a con, I've only had it happen 5 times.
Yeah.
But it has happened.
I've had it happen a couple of times, like in Dublin, Ireland, and it's like, oh god, what? The like barista at my local cafe was like, oh hey, Super Eye Patch Wolf, and I was like, hey, guess I can never come here again.
It's actually hilarious because before any anime conventions, before we had a big channel, like again, sorry, back to the Pokemon Go videos. For those, literally like like maybe like the biggest one was like 4,000, 5,000 views, and literally I had people at local coffee shop, some kids recognized me, which was really nice, and at my Brock University bookstore, a girl recognized me, which was interesting, and so those are the only times it's happened. But like the pressure is real for just like the comments you're getting all the time, and like obviously you can't read them all, and how's this, you know, people go like this video. But I think part of it is having friends who like don't even care about anime sometimes is helpful, because it's like, you know, it's not everything, you know, don't overthink it, stuff like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we are famous yet or anything like that, but I would say that there's definitely pressure because you have subscribers, you have people who, you know, who like you and want you to keep making videos, so you do feel that pressure. It's like when someone's like, where's that Attack on Titan video? You're like, back in your mind, you're like, man, I'm working. I want that video to come out now. I don't want to disappoint anyone. So you have to kind of, like I said, if you look at comments and stuff, look at the ones that are constructive, where people are like well-meaning. It's like a criticism, but it's a fair criticism. You know, pay attention to those. But then, you know, when someone is just being, you know, I haven't seen the video, but you suck, or something like that. Then in that case, you know, don't pay it any mind and just move on and learn to tune that stuff out.
You there?
You touched upon like anime that you really despise, but what was an anime that you watched where you didn't think it was going to be great, but like once you started watching it was like the only anime you could talk about, like it ended up being like your favorite, the best anime you've ever seen?
Keijo.
Really have an answer. I'm trying to think of a time where that's happened. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been like, oh, this is probably nothing, and then it was like, holy crap.
Rakugo?
Rakugo I knew going in. I actually knew about Rakugo going in. I think maybe the closest thing was something that I was just kind of like, oh, this might be fun. And then it turned into the next like 12 hours of my life, and that was Shirobako. Because I didn't know what I was doing going in. I was just like, oh, it's just people making anime, that might be fun. I've seen like short little bits. There was an episode in Paranoia Agent about that, and things like that. I was like, oh, it'll be fun. Proceed to spend the next like 12, 13 hours watching the whole show and being like, that was so great.
I watched the first like 3 episodes of Toradora one year, and then I was like, nah. And then like 2 years went by, and then like I went back and I watched it, and I actually ended up really loving that show. I thought it was like great. So yeah, that'll probably be my answer.
Yeah, for me, I usually know pretty early. I mean, like with Clannad and with Death Note, like the second one was pretty much, the second episode is pretty much you know you're gonna like it when L's on the screen talking to the light, when Nagisa's with the basketball, holding the basketball in the rain. You know.
But we're like professional anime people. We can pick out a good anime in the first 5 minutes.
But something that got even better than I thought it was going to be was Attack on Titan, and for those of you who haven't read the manga, it gets so good. Yeah. It gets so good.
Yes, I think Clannad is actually a good example because I didn't, going into it, he recommended it, but I wasn't like, it was just like another high school slice of life.
Season 1 is.
Yes, exactly. And so first season, it's like a harem, but it's, you know, it's a bit more sophisticated. Like Sunohara, the side character, actually has death, right?
It's funny.
I thought that was cool. But then after
his death is big enough so that he can get kicked in the face hard enough and still survive.
Yes. But then after story really like surprised me, and like the ending, I loved the ending. Like I could make a video about that. I should make a video about that.
Make a video of it.
I know I've been meaning to, but I feel like no one will watch it. It's one of those.
I could pull up the ending theme on my phone right now and make you cry.
Yes, you can. Then you juke my head up.
Next question, please.
Have you heard of Black Clover? If you have, what do you think?
Sorry? Not to have
Are you a big Black Clover fan? Oh dear. Yeah, I think like it's kind of, it gets a lot of hate and like I think it's kind of just become the token anime that does. I don't think it's exceptional. I think it leans on a lot of stuff that's kind of come before it, but I don't think it's terrible either. I think the dubbing choice was not great.
No. How I'm looking at Black Clover is I see a lot of people that were like really big fans of the old big three, and they see Black Clover of, oh, this thing is like exactly like the old one. Why doesn't anybody go back and watch the good stuff? When you have newer anime fans like yourself, who are probably not going to go back and watch the big three, because those are hundreds and hundreds of episodes that you have no, like, time to, well, you have tons of time, you're young. But you probably don't have the patience to watch. So I think it's more so, if you know of the big three, if you know of the tropes that exist in the big three and other shonen of that time, you'll look at Black Clover and be like, this is nothing new. But if you've never seen those before, then Black Clover is probably amazing, and is amazing for a lot of people. And that's kind of how I look at it. So I'm indifferent because I didn't really watch all the big shonen ones, and I know that Black Clover will just be another one of those, so I'm like, I'm okay. But I'm not going to say that anybody shouldn't watch it for any reason. So.
I've heard about it. I haven't watched it yet, but all I know is that there was big, like a lot of hype before it came out, and then way less hype after it came out. But I may still get into it.
Actually, we were talking with Jojo like just like a few hours ago about this. I watched like the first 25 episodes, and I don't mind it at all. I haven't continued, but I feel like it's a traditional shonen in that sense. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I'm sure the manga is better. But I actually like the fact that Asuka's not a crybaby protagonist. I really don't like, you know, when the protagonist is just like...
He yells a lot.
Yeah, he yells a lot. He yells a lot, but you know, like I don't even mind the yelling that much. It's just like, yeah, he's like, hype is like, I like his whole not giving up is my magic. Like I feel like, yeah, we should have applied that to our real everyday lives. So I don't think, you know, I think it has potential for what it is. It does take a lot of kind of borrow a lot of things from other shonen, but you know, every shonen is inspired by a bunch of other shonen as well.
I'd say we have time for maybe 2 or 3 more questions.
2 minutes.
Yeah. So let's make them good, people. Let's go for you there.
Do you guys have any like recommendations of anime communities you'd like to name drop today? Like,
absolutely not.
like a YouTuber, because I know my anime list is a really good place to go.
At one point in time, and then also at many other points in time, it was a cesspool, which is the inevitable fate of all anime communities.
Like maybe a podcast or a YouTube channel that you guys really like that you don't hear much from, haven't been mentioned yet.
Nothing that I don't think we haven't brought up. At some point.
What was the one that you said? Any podcasts though? I drive a lot all day, so podcasts are really not my thing.
Rant Cafe and Let's Play the Boss.
Rant Cafe is an arch also kind of sucks for me to like say it. Like okay, cool. Yeah, and Jojo talks too much. He's up and coming YouTuber. He also does a lot of cool stuff. He has his own podcast called House or something.
Next question, please. How about you in the grey right at the back?
What anime have you ever watched that you've ever been emotionally invested in? For example, or not so much invested, but what you took away, almost like an emotional scar, or emotional wound. Example, like the Grave of Fireflies. Did you ever
my god!
What would be your
That's like an entire whole.
I can't rewatch that.
I have 3, but since I know 2 of them, they might say. I'll say the one that hasn't been mentioned yet and say Anohana.
Yes.
There's one particular scene right at the end of Yu Yu Hakusho, the Dark Tournament Saga, and it's Toguro, the bad guy, in Genkai on a bridge, and for anyone who knows that scene, it ruins me. Every time, without fail.
Anohana when she's like, I love you, the guy I want to marry.
We found you!
Yeah. I also cried during Gurren Lagann multiple times, but it's like manly tears. And I mean, like a recent one is Your Lie in April. That messed me up.
No, that didn't miss me at all.
Did it?
Yeah, no, because I was told beforehand.
I think these guys gave really good answers to these ones.
So, super quick final question. Who would like to ask it?
Gotta be the best question.
Let's go for Misty.
What do you think about Cory in the House?
We don't have it in Ireland, I don't know. People keep asking give him a this.
It's a thing. It's not as good as Boku no Pico.
It's a political isekai, I like it.
Do you guys have any panels you want to push real quick?
The other panel that we're doing tomorrow.
That's
That is at 1 to 2 p.m. tomorrow, here.
I have a Super Eye Patch Wolf
It's
panel.
called Let's Talk Anime.
Okay.
I have a panel tomorrow at 11:30 here, so if you want to come back, please do. Do you guys have
Yeah, we have anime and philosophy we're hosting tomorrow, like I think at 3. You can look it up on the schedule. Thank you.